Hello, Dr. Yos and Prescott College. This is my reflection on how my final project went with the topic of moving beyond science, global warming, six Americas. This lesson plan is designed for grade 6 through 8. The whole point of this lesson is to help students develop their own personal ideologies relating to climate change and climate change advocacy. I wanted to introduce my children to the different ideologies that America has regarding the topic of climate change so that they can develop their own personal beliefs and morality around this controversial issue. Some of the learning objectives that we reflected on with the students were: what are global warming six American ideologies on climate change? Which of them do you identify with? Another objective that we went over was: if you were to be interviewed about your opinion on climate change, how would you support your stance? This allows students to start to connect to one of the ideologies and then defend their beliefs with evidence or personal experience or knowledge. Another one of the learning objectives for our lesson plan was: what source of influence fundamentally constructs your ideology on global warming, and how open are you to changing it when confronted with an opposite point of view or evidence? I wanted to teach my students that they might be introduced or might be confronted with individuals that don't share the same beliefs when talking about the controversial issue of climate change. And I wanted them to be equipped with how to enter an academic conversation without getting too emotional or having any like angerly outbursts, and be able to support their evidence with scientific knowledge or information that they find in academic journals or articles. I'm not going to bore you with this part. This is more of a reflection. I just want to let you know that when I did introduce the objectives as well as the students will be able to, I had them conduct it in a choral read fashion. I also had the students begin the lesson with a quick write so that they can explain to me what is it so far that has constructed their opinion on climate change before we begin the lesson in a deep dive of them being confronted with information that might change their ideology. I wanted this to be as a pre-test to see how much information they obtained throughout this process of researching and being confronted with the six different American ideologies regarding climate change. I enjoy calling on students utilizing a method of popsicle sticks. During this reflection, the more I think about it, the more I utilized a random calling on students, the better the learning objective became, and the more engaged the students became because they were scared that they were going to be chosen to read. This is the text that I had the students read, just introducing what the six Americas were and getting a little taste of what ideologies that they might identify with. I also wanted to include other digital medias. Oh, I'm sorry. I also wanted to include different types of media so that the students wouldn't get bored with just basic text. Um, and then I wanted to also provide graphs and visuals for the students in case students prefer that type of learning. I also included more articles and text on the six Americas, as well as nice illustrations to really paint a picture for the students on what each ideology represented. I'm not going to bore you with the six Americas and defining them for you, just due to this being more of a reflection focused PowerPoint. PowerPoint and video presentation. I also like the activity of Think, Pair, Share. I think it's a very powerful activity that the students get an opportunity to think about the question that their teacher presents to them. Then they get to share their opinion with their partner, and then I pull popsicle sticks so that students get an opportunity to share to the class. And I also have students raise their hand if they had similar beliefs or answers to the students that are sharing. More student volunteers, having the students on edge, not knowing who's going to be called on, creates a more engaging classroom and also helps with classroom management. I also put these exam questions inside of my PowerPoint. As I reflect on it, I found these very powerful because it allowed the students to have information that they knew that they needed to retain because they knew an assessment was coming towards the end of the unit. Another aspect that I enjoyed about my lesson was the idea of having an activity where the students drew or created a poster or illustration on the material that I presented regarding the Six Americas. I feel like this allows students that enjoy drawing and may learn from illustration and creating illustration a powerful opportunity for them to be able to retain the information that is in the PowerPoint and also for them to really form their ideology. So once all of the students have been presented with the Six Americas and they identify with one, I had this group activity for the students to conduct, and it was an amazing success. It says, in groups of two, please take 20 minutes to ask your partner the questions provided on the next slide about climate change and take notes on the responses given to your partner. Each person will be interviewed and will be provided their personal ideologies regarding the questions. Once the 20 minutes have passed, we will come together as a class, and each group needs to present what key points were discussed during the interviews. I just wanted this to be like a final opportunity for students to take the information that they learned throughout the lesson, create an ideology, and then defend it with these key questions. Feel free to pause the video and read the questions if you're interested, but I just found this so powerful for the students. I feel like this is COSTA level 3 thinking for the students to take the information and then have to evaluate their ideology or morality towards such a controversial issue or topic. Then we have a study guide where the students will study the exam questions, and then the final part of the lesson will be them taking the exam and hopefully passing it. Thank you again so much for your patience, your understanding, and your wonderful work as a professor. I'm honored to be in your class, and I really thank you for all of your flexibility. I hope you have a wonderful year, and I hope to be in contact with you. Thank you very much.